What's up, everybody? It's What the Gym, and I'm joined by Rich Strickler and Jason the Old Millennial once again.
Hello.
Last time it was for our favourite Tom Petty songs, and this time it's talking about our top 5 songs and albums of 1972. Crazy that was 50 years ago.
Yeah.
How are you guys doing?
Doing well. Thank you for inviting us.
Yeah, doing good.
That's all right. I'm excited to do this. And we've already got someone in the chat. We've got Sound Lab Studios.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was put this comment a couple of days ago, but they put it's a great year for music. It definitely is. It's one of my favorite years of music.
Absolutely.
Well, this whole early 70s is every year is pretty good.
Every year.
It's hard to beat the late 60s and early 70s.
Yeah.
The golden era
Yeah.
for classic rock. Anyway, I mean,
Yeah.
so many new bands were coming out, and all the stuff that I still like 50 years later was being played. You know, before it got a little weird for me. You know, with punk and
Yeah.
I'm not a punk guy.
Yeah.
And metal. I'm not a metal guy. I like the classic melodic rock and roll singer songwriters.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that kind of music, and they were flourishing in 1972.
Yeah.
I was 15. I was just telling these guys off camera before we started, so I hit it at the right time. I'm glad I grew up when I grew up, because music for a teenager, that's what you want. You want lots and lots of great music, and you got it big time.
And I was born a couple of years later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
40 years later.
How old were you would have been, Jason?
It was 9 years before I was born, but
Yeah, it's before both of our times. And Rich was only 15.
I was 15 in 72, so
yeah, that's
I
great.
remember it goes by quick. The last 50 years flew by.
Yeah.
We got Brian from Massey's Main
Brian.
Entertainment.
What's up,
Brian? And we got Brian saying, "Hey, everybody."
Hey.
Hey, Brian.
Brian,
So should we start with our top 5 songs or albums first?
whatever you guys want to do, I'm game.
I thought we go albums first and then songs, but I didn't know.
Yeah, well, we can do albums first.
That's cool.
Yeah. I'll let you go first, Rich. With your number 5, and then you can go, Jason, with your number 5.
Okay.
Well, I chose for number 5 something maybe you guys don't expect, but I'm going to go with the Allman Brothers, Eat a Peach.
Okay.
Southern rock. Great band out of Georgia. They set the mark for Southern rock. Later, Leonard Skinner would do their little take on it, but this is a fantastic album. Songs like One Way Out, Blue Sky, Melissa, Ain't Wasting Time No More, and unfortunately, Dwayne Allman, the lead guitar player, had a tragic accident and passed away right before this album was made.
Really? Oh.
Yeah. He contributes to it, but I mean, he didn't get to see it come out, I don't believe. So, Eat a Peach, 1972, from the Allman Brothers. Really strong. If you haven't heard it, give it a shot on Spotify. Both of you. You might like it. You might think, it's all too heavy, but it's really not. Great instrumentation, solid lyrics and melodies. So I would put it at my number 5 spot.
I recognize the album cover.
Yeah.
I think I've seen it a couple of times.
Yeah. I didn't listen to it. That's one I need to listen to.
It's good. I think you'll like it.
Is this where is this in their discography? Is this early on? Or
about 3 or 4 in.
Yeah.
It came out in 69, so
I've not heard any of the.
Yeah, they had a live album, and then they had what was the second album? Oh, I can't remember. Idlewild South, and then I think this. So it's like I think it's 3rd.
Okay.
I might be missing one, but it's early on.
Somewhat early on, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard don't they have 2 guitar players or some of the best guitar players?
Dickie Betts and Dwayne Allman.
Yeah,
Dickie
like
Betts
a
sings
third.
lead a lot, and then you got Greg Allman on the keyboards and
Okay.
plays guitar as well.
Yeah.
Real strong.
Yeah. I need to listen to some more of them then.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't go for some of the heavier bands because I just wanted to mix it up. I'm leaving the Rolling Stones off my list for their album. And
What band goes my theory for your number one? Rich.
I wanted to stick with
I already wrote it.
the ones I
I
really love the most. So
You thought
already wrote it. So I thought it was your number one.
that's funny.
Right.
All
Your
right.
number five, Jason.
Number 5. This is an album I actually wasn't familiar with, and I was trying to listen to a bunch of 1972 albums to get ready for the stream. And of course, I'm a big fan of this artist, and I found myself really liking this album. It's called Honky Chateau by Elton John.
Yep.
And I'm a big Elton John fan, but yet I'm not like real familiar with his discography. Surprisingly enough, I need to go back and listen to some more of his stuff because I hear a lot about Madman Across the Water and Yellow Brick Road are the two I hear about. I don't know. This one still I thought was really good. I'm guessing this is still pretty high up because he had like 7 number 1 albums in a row or something like that.
I think
And
so.
I think
Yeah.
this one, I don't know if this one started it maybe. I can't remember. I was reading about it or somewhere in there. So it was a number 1 album. So it was a huge album evidently. And I don't know if you can tell me, Rich, is this one of his top ones?
oh, it's a good one. It just missed my list. It was my 6th choice actually.
Okay.
It was the one I bumped off, but it followed. Madman came out in 71, Madman Across the Water, and Goodbye Yellow Brick Road was the next year in 73.
Yeah. Okay.
And he also had an album called Don't Shoot Me, I'm Only the Piano Player
Yeah.
in 73. He had 2 albums that year. So it's right in between there.
Yeah. So yeah, so this was one that I wasn't real familiar with, and I was listening to. Of course, Rocket Man is the big song on here. Obviously, I really like that song. That's the one I'm familiar with. Opens up with a Honky Cat or something like that.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a really good open. I really liked that opener. I thought
That was a hit song, Honky Cat. It was a hit.
Yeah. His second song on there is called Mellow, and I really like that song. And that was a song I don't think I've heard before. And I was like, wow, this is actually quite a good song.
It's quite a mellow song.
Yeah, it's kind of a mellow song. It's maybe a little long. I feel like it goes a little bit long, but still, I really enjoy that song. There's I'm trying to remember what it's called. Something Mad Hatters.
Mona Lisa's and Mad
Mona
Hatters.
Lisa and Mad Hatters. Yeah, that's another. I know everybody loves that song. That's another good one on there. And another song called Salvation I quite enjoyed. Anyways, but overall, I was like, of course, I love Elton John's piano playing. It's so great. Throughout the whole thing, I'm just like, man, I love hearing him play piano. I don't know what he does different than other people, but he just really knows how to play piano great. And write really great songs. Or, of course, him and his writing partner, Poppin, I think, or something like that.
Bernie Poppin.
Yeah, I just thought, man, this is a really solid album. Yeah, and it made it into my top 5 here, so that's why I got it 5.
Good one. It almost made my list, like I said. Very good pick.
Yeah, it almost made my list too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But before I see what my number 5 is, let's see what's going on in the chat. So we've got Richard McCook saying, "Hi guys, great to see Lou Reed's Transformer behind me." Yeah, behind me there. Classic album from 1972.
Yep.
I may or may not be talking about it later, Richard. It's great to see you here. We got Brian saying he was 3 when 1972. Just thought that Ziggy Stardust Halloween costume.
Oh man.
I would have liked to have seen that. We got Garrett from Sound Studio saying, "What's up, everyone?" Other than this guy.
This guy is up, yeah.
He was said, "Here's rooting for Can't Buy a Thrill. I think it's a brick."
Yeah, he's a big fan of those.
Yeah, they're good. Both.
They're albums, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah, I've not heard
It's
of
Steely
those.
Dan and Jethro Tull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Brian's number 5 is Talking Book by Stevie Wonder.
Yeah, great
Wonder.
pick. Talking Books, loaded. Great one.
And Brian's got Machine Head by Deep Purple.
Yep.
I figured he put Deep Purple in there, and I listened to that album, and I could not stand that album.
I think a lot of people would agree with Brian. I know a lot of friends of mine in the VC, they love Deep Purple and Machine Head. That's their best album of the year. It's just not for me.
I could not get into that. I don't know what
I've
it was.
I've only heard Struck In.
Yeah, it's a good album. It's not my style.
Yeah, it's not my style.
And Brian said I'm not much of a jam band guy, but I
Okay.
get where they love the Allman Brothers.
Yeah, I'm not a jam band guy normally, but they're the one that I like the Grateful Dead and I like the Allman Brothers.
Does that mean like a lot of long guitar solos or what?
Yeah, they sort of extend the solos a bit, go off on a tangent. You
Yeah.
either like it or you don't.
Jason is listening to the self-titled Elton John album and Tumbleweed Connection.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tumbleweed Connection's one of his best for sure.
Okay.
In my opinion.
I think both of those albums are some of his
Yeah,
best.
they're both good. Can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Tumbleweed Connection's best Elton John album you
Never heard.
never heard.
I would agree with that.
And we've got Brian here, so Love Mona Lisa, The Man Hatters.
Yeah.
One of his favourite Elton John songs.
Yes.
I need to hear that one more. I think I've only heard it once.
It's featured in the movie Almost Famous. It's a classic scene in that movie, and it's a great song.
Okay. Yeah.
Sam here.
What's up, Sam?
He likes the Mona Lisa's one
Yeah,
as well.
it's a killer song.
Yeah.
Right.
Pretty popular one, yeah. And Brian said, "Now I'm the one that's disappointed, Jason."
Yeah. Yeah. Briar's into more heavier stuff than I am, but
Yeah, that's cool.
Guys, I've never heard Thick as a Brick. I've heard of the album, I've just not listened to it.
yeah, I haven't listened to that.
Is there a song called Thick as a Brick as well?
Yes.
The whole album's one song.
No, but there is a title track on there called Thick as a Brick.
You have to send him a vinyl copy because that's the best way to experience it. The whole album is one song. Well, I really appreciate that, Garrett. Yeah, I'd love to listen to that one. Might get it on vinyl then.
Yeah.
Is it a concept album then?
Yeah, most of those Jethro Tull albums are, in a way.
I've only heard Aqualung.
Yeah, I know Aqualung.
Yeah.
But I'll get to my fifth favourite 1972 album. Here it is. And it's by Bill Withers.
Bill
And
Withers.
it's called Still Bill.
Nice.
Yeah. I love this album. I think his vocals are amazing here, and I love the instrumentation as well. But my favourite song on it is Lean on Me, which ends the first side on the album. And I think the whole album's very consistent all the way through. There's only 10 songs in total. And I think the album's a really, really great length as well. And
Yeah.
I think he wrote quite a lot of the songs on here. I think there was a couple he didn't write, but for the most part, it's stuff that he wrote. But I don't quite enjoy it as much as his debut album, but I still recommend listening to this one though. It's still a really, really great album.
Does
I
he
know
do
that-
No Sunshine?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Ain't No Sunshine. Use Me is another song he did. I know Brian of Massey's Main Entertainment is a big Bill Withers fan.
Yeah.
He'll like your pick for sure.
Yeah, I'm not real familiar. I know some of his hits probably.
Lean on Me almost made my top 5 songs.
Oh, Lean on Me. Yeah.
That's a great song.
Good song.
I have it in my honorable mentions as my one of my songs when we get to that.
Yeah.
All right, so number 4.
Number 4, I'm going to go with Neil Young, Harvest. That's my number 4. Again, this is more of a acoustic Neil Young. I mean, he can crank it with the best of them, but that's what I like about Neil Young. He some of his stuff is just hard rock, you know, that kind of thing with some of his earlier albums. And then here comes an acoustic laid back album with the hit Heart of Gold and Old Man on it. Needle and the Damage Done, which is sort of a grittier tune. The title track, Harvest. Just a solid album all the way through. I like Neil Young when he does these kind of albums. There's a later album in 1978 he does called Comes a Time, and it's very much like this. It's country-ish acoustic. He does that really well. And later on, Harvest Moon, when he does Harvest Moon in the early 90s, a solid album as well. So Harvest, Neil Young, number 4 on my list of 1972.
It was very close to being in my top 5. Just didn't quite. It was number 6 for me.
Wow.
Yeah. They're all bunched up there. Yeah.
It's my favorite Neil Young album.
Yeah.
Right, so you're number 4, Jason.
My number 4 is Harvest by Neil Young.
Hey,
The discussion.
I'm right with you,
Yeah.
Rich. I just reviewed this out, or just did this album on my top 100 favorite albums list. It came in number 35 on my top 100 favorite albums. So I covered it just this Tuesday, I think, or Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday I covered it. And yeah, same thing. Like I love Neil Young. He's one of the best guitar players I think I've ever heard.
Mm-hmm.
And he really rocks it out. And like Everybody Knows This Is Nowhere and After the Gold Rush, he has some great rock songs.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of prefer his acoustic guitar work. I think is some of the best. And this album has my 2 favorite Neil Young songs on it, Old Man and Heart of Gold. I absolutely love those 2 songs. And like, I love watching him on YouTube play those songs. Just him and the guitar and harmonica is just so fun to watch. Like I don't know how he gets those sounds out of that guitar. Like I play guitar, but I'm like, I just don't know how to play like he does. But yeah, and I love his voice. I'm a big fan of his voice, and I don't know if he gets criticism because he has a unique voice, but I always enjoy it.
It works because there's nobody else that sounds like that. You know it's Neil Young right from the first syllable.
Yeah,
you know?
Nobody. Yeah, it's such a unique voice. I
like those clips you're talking about too, when he's sitting like on a stool and just playing those songs. You got the long hair hanging in his face.
Yeah,
it's classic.
Yeah, that's like my favorite Neil Young. Is him doing that kind of stuff. Even though I like his electric guitar work as well. But
it's great. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely this was an album that I knew was going to make it my top 5. It's my favorite Neil Young album, as Adam said, amongst his stuff. But yeah, love Harvest. They're number 4 for me as well.
Wow, very nice.
That's one I've got to get on vinyl at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, get that one.
I've got his Decades compilation album.
Oh, okay.
That's a great one too. It's got everything on it.
I think it's a triple album.
It is.
Really?
Got loads of songs on it. But it's amazing.
Yeah.
I think it's a parody of concept albums. I wonder what it would sound like. I'll listen to it then. Yeah, I'll hit him up on Facebook or Instagram. Right, thank you, Garrett. I look forward to having a look at that. Fake album review on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Brian likes my choice with Bill Withers.
Yes, I knew he would.
Yeah.
Yeah. His debut, Just As I Am, is a banger. Hope You'll Be Happy is just an incredible and powerful song. That's my favourite Bill Withers song.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But I definitely wants to get into more Bill Withers. Love the collaboration with Grover Washington Jr. Just 2 of us.
Great song.
Yeah, it is a great one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And number 4, Brian is also Harvest.
There you go. We all have that. Number 4.
And for Brian, it's Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust.
Yep.
Garrett said, don't listen to it. Wait until the record comes in. All right, that's me told then. I'll be listening to it on Spotify then. Right, so I'll get to my number 4 favorite 1972 album. If I can find it, that is. There we go. Right. It's Transformer by Lou Reed.
There you go.
It's one of my favorite produced albums as well. I absolutely love the way it sounds. The record of Transformer I've got behind me is actually my dad's. He beat me to it with buying the record, so I just used his version. Yeah, I absolutely love the album. Perfect Day is my favorite song on it, but I've also found songs such as Walk on the Wild Side, Satellite of Love, Walking Wheels, one of my favorites. I'm So Free, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of all these songs, pretty much. Maybe not with New York Television Conversation though. It's a bit of a weird one. That one, I quite like that one. But yeah, I think he wrote all the tracks as well.
Yeah, great songwriter.
His voice is very distinct, especially on this album. But I've always liked his vocals, though. His sort of talking vocals. But quite in a few of the songs, I'd say he does a really, really amazing vocal performance.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the rest he probably does a great vocal performance. But overall, yeah, it's a fantastic album. That's my number 4.
Very good. My number 3, Steely Dan, Can't Buy a Thrill.
Oh, yeah, heard that mentioned.
That
And
was
now I get to see it.
Yeah, there it is. This is their debut album. Songwriting team of Walter Becker and Donald Fagen. Some hits on here like Do It Again, which is the opening track. Reeling in the Years, just a classic with one of the best guitar solos you'll ever hear. And Dirty Work, fantastic song. Midnight Cruiser. This is not as jazzy as Steely Dan would get later in the 70s, but it's pop rock, sophisticated lyrics, great melodies, great instrumentation. They always have these well-produced albums, but they got off to a big start here. 1972, Brian and Doc and I did a debut album, our favorite dozen debut albums the other day. It hasn't been released yet, but
Okay.
it'll come out Monday, and this appeared on at least 2 of our lists. So
Right.
this is one of the better debut albums out there. If you're a Steely Dan fan, it's a must-have. So that's my number 3.
Cool. That's
All right.
the one I've got to listen to.
My
Yeah.
number 3 is Can't Buy a Thrill by Steely Dan.
Is it?
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we're all in sync here. What is going on, Jason?
Yeah. 2 in a row.
And hang on,
Oh, look at Brian. It's another one.
it's happened again.
That's hard to do. That's really hard to do.
Yeah. I was like, oh, wow. He did it again. I listened to the album for the first time this last week.
Oh, wow.
I don't know anything about Steely Dan. I've heard of them. I know Do It Again, Really in the Years, and Dirty Work. I think are only 3 songs I think I know from Steely Dan.
Mm-hmm.
And all 3 are on this album.
Right.
But yeah, I really didn't know much about them. But I hear people like the album, so I was like, I'm gonna listen to this album to get ready for the stream. And I'm like blown away by this album. I thought it was so good. Went to my number 3 just on one listen, anyways, for me. It's really I love the harmonies. The harmonies are so good on this album. And also the guitar work is just some of the best guitar work I've ever heard on an album. And both things really just kind of blew me away when I'm like listening to each song. Even songs I didn't know, I was like, man, I'm really enjoying this song, which is something. From what I researched about them, like, yeah, you mentioned that there's like 2 core members, Becker and Fagen, I think.
Yeah.
One's a bass player, one's the keyboard player or something.
Right.
And Fagen was like kind of the main singer, but he had stage fright. So they got another vocalist named David Palmer to sing on this album. and David Palmer is the lead singer for Dirty Work.
Yeah.
And I really like his vocals, but this is the only album he's on from what I saw. He left the group after this, and Fagan kind of took over as the lead singer. He, I guess, got over stage fright, I guess, or they forced him to sing sing live, and so he took over singing live. And so Palmer, so I'm like, that must make all the other albums sound different because they did away with David Palmer, which I'm always like, man, I really loved the group on this album. So I don't know. I have to listen to the other albums, I guess, but I can't imagine it's going to be hard to beat this one. And this is their debut album, which is.
Yeah, it's one of their better ones. I don't think it's their best album. I think they have a couple better. I mean, Brian would disagree. It is his favorite Steely Dan album, but I think you'll like all of their albums. I mean, if you like the instrumentation and the guitar solos, the lyricism, the harmonies, Fagan's voice is pretty distinct too. But I think you'll like their album. They get a little jazzy with some of their stuff, but for the most part, really solid band.
Yeah, this was a great. I just can't believe this is a debut. I'm like, man, they really did it on a debut album. Made this anyways. So it's not on my top 100 favorite list, but the next time I make a top 100, it's definitely going to be on there because I just thought it was such a really good album. I was really blown away by how much I enjoyed it.
And that was on one listen. Wait till you start getting, put it on again and again and again. You'll really pick up some stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's almost kind of a surprise. This is like the hidden surprise that when I listened to all these albums to get ready for this, that's the one I wasn't expecting to be my top 5. And I was like, wow, this is the top 5 album.
Yeah. Good.
I hope they get to that one by the end of the year. Before 1972 is over, we'll get to it.
Sure.
Okay.
Bryce, he enjoys the production of.
Ah,
I like Transformer too. It just didn't make my list.
Yeah, I've already seen that. Yeah, he just missed his top 5.
Well, it looks like I'm copying Rich because I come right after him.
Dirty Work was featured on the movie trailer for the Suicide Squad.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We've got Ron Nelson. His number 5 is St. Dominic's Preview by Van Morrison. And number 4 is Harvest by Neil Young.
Yeah.
3 is Sail Away by Randy Newman.
Okay.
Cool.
Randy has Harvest at number 4 too. He's the 4th.
I know.
Crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Very good.
And the artist has gone down the CD down rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you got to listen to more.
I don't feel like they have that many albums, do they?
They had 7, I think, in the 70s. Then they took some time off. There's about 9, I think, altogether.
Because I think I read they kind of broke up in like 1981 or something like that. So it was not that long period.
Yeah, I think they have 9 studio albums altogether. 7 of them are in the 70s.
Yeah, so it won't take that long to get through them, probably.
No, they have a couple of compilations, but I would listen to the albums and see what you like. There's going to be some deep cuts in there. They're like Dirty Work is really. It wasn't a big hit when it came out.
Wasn't? Okay.
But it's grown over the years. FM radio plays it a lot, but it wasn't really a charted monster hit. Like Reeling in the Years and Do It Again were both hits.
Yeah, yeah.
But 7 albums.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
And Randy thinks a Transformer. It's his favourite Lou Reed album. It's the only studio album I've heard from him. So I'll listen to more of his stuff. But you should give it a raw scam a listen.
Those are my 2 favorites, by the way. Asia and the Royal Scam.
Okay.
Those are my 2 favorite Steely Dans. And also like Can't Buy a Thrill number 3.
Okay. Wow.
Katie Lie's very good. That would be my 4th. That's
Okay.
a good one.
What's the latest album called? The last one they did.
The first one is Can't Buy a Thrill.
The last one.
The last one.
Oh God, I forget. The 2 Against Nature or something like that.
They came back together in the 2000s and won like Album of the Year or something.
Yeah, they had an album called 2 Against Nature.
And I think that surprised everybody. They came back and won album of the year or
I
something.
think that might have been the Grammy winner, but
Or Grammy, yeah, Grammy winner.
let me
Well, I
look
said
real
that
quick.
album is underrated.
I'll run through it real quick. Can't Buy a Thrill came out in 72. Countdown to Ecstasy in 73. Then Pretzel Logic in 74. Katie Lied in 75. The Royal Scam in 76. Asia in 77. So that's 6 albums. Then 1980 was Gaucho. And then they skipped 20 years. In 2000, they came out with Two Against Nature. In 2003, Everything Must Go. So there's 9 albums altogether. That's
Wow,
their
like
whole
one album a year.
one album a year in the 70s up
Wow.
until 77, and they put Gaucho out in 80, and then they quit for 20 years.
Yeah.
They released 2 albums in 2000s. Not the strong or worth listening to.
But I think Becker passed away.
He passed away a few years ago.
Yeah.
Garrett was behind Nick about the 7 studio albums. I would be Dr. William, just showing about I what's new. Like Crazy Out High, just an ordinary guy.
That's a song from, I think, Katie Lied, Dr. Wu.
There's Dr. Robert and Dr. Wu.
Dr. Wu.
Brian saying Fagan had the Night Fly in the 80s.
Solo album.
Solo album, yeah.
I Becker had a solo project as well.
Yeah, I listened to Walter Becker's solo. It was one of our CD exchange things. It's very good.
Okay.
Right, so we'll get to my number 3 favorite 1972 album. And the hits just keep on coming. Like Michael Nesmith.
Wow, Sam will be happy.
Yeah,
Very
Sam.
nice.
And he actually got me to buy the record.
Okay.
I think I bought the 50th anniversary version. And it came on a coloured disc, I think. But I've only played it once, but I absolutely love the album. I love the way it sounds, and I think all the songs are just amazing. And there's only 10 songs on this as well. But I think I've got a version that has extra songs on it. But there's only 10 on the standard studio album. And I love all the songs on it, but my favourite is called Keep On, which is the 9th track on the album. And the second favourite is probably the first track, Tomorrow and Me. But it's an amazing album, and I think he's my favourite Monkey in terms of the solo work.
Yeah.
Really amazing album.
Yeah. I didn't know they had solo work until I heard Sam talk about it.
Yeah, well, Nesmith was the true musician, the
Yeah.
better musician of the 4 of them.
Yeah.
Peter Tork, of course, was a musician, and the other 2 were actors.
Yeah.
Davy Jones was a stage actor in London, and Mickey did comedy, and they, picked them for that TV show.
Did they do any solo work or?
I think Davy Jones has some solo. I think they all dabbled in different stuff. Yeah.
Huh.
But Mike Nesmith
He's
is honored and revered of the 4.
Tea's
Apparently
ready.
my tea's ready.
Your tea's ready, Alan?
Even though I've already eaten. I've
English
already eaten.
tea break.
Not right now when I'm doing a live stream. Oh, I forgot to take that off. There we go.
We ready
Right.
for my number 2 here?
Yep.
I'm interested in seeing what you got.
I can guarantee you
We've got the same.
nobody's going to copy this one.
Okay.
It's sitting right behind Adam there. Jackson Brown's debut album from 1972, also known as Saturate Before Using, but it's really Jackson Brown is the name of the album. One of my favorite albums. Again, a nice debut. I love every song on here. It starts out with Jamaica, Say You Will, A Child in These Hills. There's a song called Song for Adam, which is a wonderful song. After My Eyes was the hit off of this
Good song.
particular album. Something Fine's a great song. Looking Into You and Rock Me on the Water, which has a gospel kind of feel to it. Jackson Brown, of course, was one of the singer-songwriters of that early 70s movement. And, Joni Mitchell, Cat Stevens, James Taylor, Paul Simon, Lou Reed. The list goes on and on and on. But I think this solo album can rival any of those other folks' solo albums. It's that good. He had a long career. He's still making music today. He's still alive and cranking it out. I think he's got maybe 17, something like that, 17 studio albums.
Really? Wow.
And I have them all because I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
So this is one of my guys. This is the guy that writes the best personal, introspective lyrics that I've found, other than Bob Dylan. I'm not going to put him in Dylan's class. Dylan's in a league of his own. But right after that, along with Joni Mitchell and Paul Simon, this guy's as good as they get. So,
what's your favorite? What's your favorite Jackson Browne album?
Yeah, what's your favorite?
My favorite album would be "Late for the Sky." Came out in '74. "For Every Man" in 1973 is very good. I like "Running on Empty," which is a mini concept album.
Yeah.
When he's on the road, all the songs take place either they're recorded in backstage on tour buses and hotel rooms.
Okay.
Life on the Road. It's really a great album. And he's got an album called "I'm Alive," which came out in the early '90s, talking about getting over a breakup and going through some hard times. And he comes back with that album "I'm Alive," and it's excellent. So he's got a lot of really good albums. Can't recommend him highly enough. But again, I grew up at the right time where that kind of music was big, and it was what I wanted, what I needed to hear at that time in my life. So it may not work for somebody going back and getting it and now, but I was 15 when I heard it, and I was big into lyrics at that time. I tried to write, poetry and songs and stuff, and this guy was laying the groundwork for that kind of stuff. So, personal pick at number 2.
Yeah, he's an artist on my list that I want to get through his work at some point.
Well, when you do, Jason, start at the beginning. Don't go into the later, because you'll see his words and his themes mature as he gets older. So you want to start out with it in the beginning and take the ride. At least listen to the first 4 or 5 albums. And if you don't like them by then, you're probably not going to like them.
Well, I love Doctor My Eyes, Running on Empty, The Great Pretender, I think is the name of the song.
The Pretender.
The Pretender.
That's a great album too. I left that out, but that's excellent.
Then there's like this one that's like Stay, and there's 2 songs that kind of go together.
That's on the Running on Empty album.
Yeah.
The Loadout and Stay.
Yeah, the Loadout. Yeah, I like those songs. Those are good.
I think you'll like the albums because you like acoustic music.
Yeah.
I would start with the first one and then see where it goes.
Yeah.
Same with you, Adam. I think if you listen to him, you'll like him a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Yeah.
Even 50 years later, it's still universally acceptable music. It's good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what's your second favorite?
All right, number 2, one of my favorite singer-songwriters. It's John Denver's Rocky Mountain High.
Yep.
Album. I would say this is 3rd or 4th album on his discography. I'm forgetting now. I looked it up. But man, this is one that really put him on the charts. He kind of got known for Leaving on a Jet Plane, came a big hit for Mamas and Papas. And then he started doing his solo albums, and Rocky Mountain High, of course, when Rocky Mountain High came on the radio, that was a huge hit. And that really catapulted him into one of the great artists of the 70s, one of the best-selling artists of the 70s as well, from what I read. Anyway, I'm a big fan of John Denver. Love his style. Again, acoustic guitar work, great songwriting. Love his vocal work. It's so great. Obviously, Rocky Mountain High is one of the big songs on here. And I think, because I don't know, I'm from Kansas. And so I'm right next to Colorado. And Kansas, if you know Kansas, we're just totally flat lands. There's no mountains. There's no forests, big lakes. We're just this flat farm land. Kansas, so it's not real pretty here. But man, you go west to Colorado, and once you hit those Rocky Mountains, the first time I saw the Rocky Mountains, my breath was taken away. I thought it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Come from Kansas and seen mountains, I was like, I love mountains. Anyway, so Colorado's
Colorado.
Yeah.
yeah. So Colorado is always like a big hotspot for people from Kansas because it's right next to us and it's a really nice vacation. It's a nice place to go on vacation. Go to Denver, Colorado Springs area. I don't know if you've been west, Rich, yourself, but
Yeah. Can I interject before? I don't want to take your time up, but
yeah.
I took a trip out to Colorado to see my dad, who had moved out there
Oh, okay.
in 1989. And you're right. I driving through Kansas, completely flat,
Yeah.
cows, cornfields
Yeah.
galore, flat as you can see. And all of a sudden, you see these mountains come out of the distance, and that's Colorado, the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah.
And the closer you get to them, the more breathtaking they become, because then you're in them, you're driving through them. I was about 5 miles from my destination, and I got a speeding ticket
Really?
in Colorado. Yeah. So I'll never forget that. But you're right. The mountains are so, because back east even, we have these little things they call the Poconos, which are little mounds. They're not mountains like real mountains like you see out in Colorado, Wyoming. Those are mountains.
Yeah.
But it's eye-opening, the
Yeah.
terrain.
So, man, I feel like listening to Rocky Mountain High just takes me to the Rocky Mountains. I guess that's what I was saying. It's just,
right.
I think of the Rocky Mountains when I hear that song, and I think about how beautiful it is there. And that's what I love about John Denver's music. It really brings you there to that place because he loves to talk about stuff like Rocky Mountains. You know, of course, Country Roads is another big one where he really takes you on a trip. Anyways, but yeah, so good. Goodbye Again is also a really good song off of here. Kind of a heartbreaking song about having to leave your wife to go tour and stuff. Prisoner is a really good song. And then what makes this album so great is the last like 4 or 5 songs. It's called The Season Suite, and it's all these songs kind of mixed in together. And he goes through the different seasons: summer, fall, winter, late winter, early spring, and then ends with spring. And the music is so beautiful. I mean, and it's like when it starts off, it's this really great, catchy kind of music. And you get into like winter time and it's just instrumental, but even the instrumental stuff is just so beautiful. Like I listen to this and I'm just like, so taken away by this last, the suite. It's just like, man, I'm just in heaven when I'm listening to this, to the suite, and this whole album is just beautiful. I just love his vocal work, on all of it. Anyways, it's definitely one of my favorites. It's my second favorite John Denver album all time. And it's one I haven't gotten to yet on my top 100 favorite albums, but it'll be coming up. Anyways, I just can't recommend it more. Rocky Mountain High.
Yeah,
I knew that was on your list. I didn't know it would be number 2, but that's a great one.
Yeah.
Because I've heard you talk about John Denver before.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites.
And he was huge in the 70s. I lived through it. I remember. He even had a summer TV series, I think, one season or maybe 2, where he was the host, and he was very popular.
Yeah, he guest hosted on the Johnny Carson show sometimes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Which is interesting, and yeah, he did a couple movies, I think, or at least one I know of.
Yeah, he was in Oh God.
Oh God, yeah.
Movie with George Burns.
Yeah.
I'll get to my number 2 then, which is Ziggy Stardust and the really long title. by David Bowie.
That is a long title.
The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. Yeah. Took us ages to find the album that I've got in my room here. And it was inside an Elvis record. And they both got the same birthday.
Really?
Yeah. I only found that out today.
That's pretty cool.
But I love this album. It's my favorite David Bowie album. I pretty much love all these songs. I think my favorites are 5 Years and Moonage Daydream and Starman.
Oh yeah.
Ziggy Stardust and Suffragette City. They're probably all my favorites, but I love all these songs. If I had to pick a least favorite, though, it'd probably be it ain't easy. But I still really enjoy that one. Yeah, I think David Bowie's at his peak here.
Yeah.
I love the concept of the album as well, and the made up character of Ziggy Stardust.
Cool.
I kind of wish you did more albums of Ziggy Stardust character.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's my second favorite album from 1972.
Yeah, I've heard of that one. I know it's a big one for David Bowie.
Big one is right.
Got quite a few things going on in the chat here.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Galaxy. I could talk about Steve down as much as I could talk about The Who.
Yeah.
And prize number 3 is Foxtrot by Genesis.
Yeah, he likes Genesis.
And number 2 is Close to the Edge by Yes.
Yes. Okay.
And Randy's number 2 is The Prize for Most. Used to play the soul piano by Joey Lee Lewis.
Really, Lewis.
How about that? I didn't know it was a number 2. Very nice.
And he sadly passed away this year.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Late for the Sky is his favourite. Is Randy's favourite Jackson Brown album.
Yeah.
Close to the Edge. Round by the Corner. With loads of R's. And you need
Yeah. Oh, John Denver's coming.
He's coming. Yeah, I found you thick as a brick. I found you very thick as a brick. Oh, have you? Awesome. Thank you. And they've got you. Oh, you meant. I think it said the Mamas and the Papas.
What did I say? Mamas and
You said
Papas?
Mamas and Papas.
Yeah.
I did? Oh, I know. It's Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Peter,
I know
Paul,
that.
Mary. Yeah.
I messed it up. Yeah, Peter, Paul, and Mary is what I meant.
Rich P became a highway star in Colorado. Haha.
Yes, I did. I was zooming, man.
Sorry, Jason, I like Deep Purple too. If not for just Smoke on the Water.
Water's on there.
Oh yeah, I've heard that one.
Oh, yeah.
I've got Proghouse singing Good Afternoon.
So,
Good afternoon to you.
Edward.
Edward. Okay.
You enjoyed. Oh, I think it's still got Proghouse. Enjoyed the
guess-
story about Pink Floyd.
Thank you.
He commits rock and roll suicide at the end. Oh, so you couldn't make a sequel there. I suppose. Ziggy Stardust.
Okay.
But I thought there was another Ziggy Stardust album after that. Or is that just me? I can't
Yeah,
remember.
Bowie changed style so much and looks, and he wasn't going to repeat himself much. Part of the allure of him, I think.
That was the glam rock period, I think.
Glam rock period, yeah.
So what's your favourite album of 72, Rich?
Well, guess what? Ziggy Stardust.
There it is.
I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but I think it's the best album that came out that year. For the reasons you mentioned, the concept, it's kind of he's got that androgynous look and the glam period, and it epitomized 1972 pretty well. The songs are incredible. 5 Years is my favorite song on here, but Starman's great. Ziggy Stardust, Suffragette City, Rock and Roll Suicide, Moon Age Daydream, all this stuff. Just one great song after the other. It had to be my number one, just on merit. I love everything about it, and it's a great listen all the way through. It's almost theatrical in a way when you hear it. I think he did a lot of I wouldn't say stage plays, but he had a lot of stuff going on stage when he was doing this as well in the performance. So
Okay.
I never got to see Bowie live, unfortunately.
I was gonna ask you that.
I never did. I wasn't really a fan at that time. I was later on when I started appreciating him more, when I saw his career and the way he changed and did all this great music. So many great albums and so many great songs. But at the time, I wasn't into all that glam and facial makeup and rebelling. I was pretty low key listening to the more mild stuff in rock. I mean, I just wasn't attracted to that. That's why I'm not a Deep Purple fan, or uh, you know, I didn't need that kind of hard rock to get. I do like Led Zeppelin though. Don't get me wrong, but they didn't have an album in '72, so
Yeah,
I couldn't use them. The Rolling Stones album is great. It's a double album. It's got a lot of filler on it. The Who didn't have an album in '72.
yeah, they
So
did.
I had to go with Bowie as my number one.
Okay. I
And
was
then,
thinking Eagles for you, but I was wrong. But
what'd you think?
Eagles.
Yeah, I know. I like that Eagles debut. I really do, but it's not as strong as the other five I picked. I want it to be fair. And also, the America album came out in,
Oh yeah, America. Yeah, yeah,
and I love that band, but I want it to be fair and honor the five deserved ones. But the Eagles would have been in my top 10 if we were doing a 10. I would have put them on there. And the
okay.
same with the Rolling Stones, Exile on Main Street. I would have put that on there. So that,
Well,
what's Jason? I think I know, but I'm not gonna tip my hand.
Yeah, I think I've talked about it before, probably. But number one for me is "You Don't Mess Around with Jim"
I would have got it. Yep.
by
oh,
Jim Croce.
I'm actually going through his discography right now.
Yeah, he only has he like technically has 5 albums, but only 3 of them really were like
Yeah.
major albums, I would say.
I listened to his 1.66.
Okay. Yeah, because he had like 2 early ones in the 60s. I
Yeah,
think
but they didn't do anything on the charts.
they
were
did
sort of-
nothing on the charts.
I don't even know if you can find them these days. He had the three main ones that you're talking about. I Got a Name,
Life and Times is the
Life
other one.
and Times, and You Don't Mess Around with Jim. Yeah.
Yeah, those are really the only 3 I really count for Jim Croce. But yeah, I absolutely love this album, and of course, love singer-songwriters like Jim Croce and John Denver at this time period. Absolutely amazing. Jim Croce is from like the Philadelphia area, Rich.
He is. He is. He was big here.
Yeah, I bet. Man, that must have been because you're from Philadelphia. I'm guessing growing up.
Yeah, I was born in Philadelphia. He grew up, I think it's Coatesville, which is a suburb, but Philadelphia took him as like his adopted home. So
Yeah, so I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
But man, I just love the acoustic guitar style on here. Love his vocals are so soothing. And it has so many great hits on here. It has like my 3 favorite Jim Croce songs: "Time in the Bottle," "Photographs of Memories," and "Operator."
Yeah.
3 absolutely amazing songs. I love all 3 songs. They're some of my favorites all time. "Time in the Bottle," one of the best love songs ever, I think, ever written. And it's interesting. It wasn't like a big hit song, I think, when it came out, but then Jim Croce would die in a plane wreck just a couple years later, I think, if I remember right. And of course, that song took a whole new meaning after he died, I think. And it became a number 1 hit after he died. They put it back out, I think. And Tom and Bob became a number 1 hit. And so it's really sad when you listen to the song and think about how much did we miss with Jim Croce, dying during the peak of his career. And man, I imagine so many more great albums could have came out if he would have been alive or something, So it just makes me real sad when I think about he only has like 3 really big albums out, and that's all we got. But yeah, "Operator," absolutely amazing written song about going through a breakup basically and calling your ex. And then "Photographs of Memories" is just a great song about looking at photographs and reminiscing about the past, kind of, and just absolutely beautiful music. Also, New York Is Not My Home" is also a really great song off this album. Love that song. Of course, You Don't Mess Around with Jim," the title song, is a big one. And there's one like the "Stock Car Boy" or something in here.
Rapid Roy, the Stock Car Boy.
Rapid Roy, Stock Car Boy. It's kind of more of the upbeat songs that he does at times. But yeah, so for me, it's so much beautiful music here. And I'm just a huge fan of Jim Croce. So it's my number 1.
Yeah, that's a shame he died so young.
Yeah, he was 30 years old. And I think, gosh, I'm 39. So, like, man.
Yeah. I know. I always draw a parallel. Not that the same, but Buddy Holly died young
Hmm.
and put out a limited amount of music, and yet,
Yeah.
and a plane crash, of course, and yet he is revered as a Hall of Famer.
Uh-huh.
Yet Jim Croce's been denied Hall of Fame, and he only,
Really?
he's not in the Hall, and
That's crazy.
he should be, because if you project what he could have done
Right.
or was going to do, he would have been there, because he was just getting started. He really was.
Yeah. That's what I feel like.
And I feel bad about that, because he used to show up on TV a lot on like the Midnight Special and some of these TV shows they used to have late at night. And you got to see him while he was at his peak. A lot of bands wouldn't go on because they didn't want you to get anything for free. They want you to go pay to see him in concert. But he actually would
Okay.
show up on a talk show, like the Mike Douglas show was big then, or Dick Cavett. He would play live, and you got to see his talents. And he had that sideman with him, Maury, I forget his last name, but he was
Yeah.
the accompanying guitar player that did some of the licks and stuff while Jim was playing rhythm, and they had it down, man. They were, and they died together on that plane.
Yeah. Yeah, those two, man. Yeah, I love those two guitars together. Yeah,
If you watch them on YouTube, you'll see some excellent work, teamwork there. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, guess I'll get to my 1972 album now. My number one. I'm really rich, just had to switch slightly for number 1 and 2. For me, it's Jackson Brown, self-titled.
Nice.
Yeah, Jackson Brown. Cool.
Got it
Yeah.
number 1. Wow.
Wow.
One of my favorite 70s albums, and it's actually one of my favorite albums of all time.
I
Wow.
didn't
I
know
absolutely
that.
love it.
Good job. I like it.
Man, I need to listen to this album.
Yeah, I love everything about it. It's a fantastic album.
It is.
I don't really think there's any filler on it whatsoever. I love every single song on here. And Doctor My Eyes was his biggest hit on this song.
Mm-hmm.
I love the lyrics and the vocals of all these songs. It's definitely an album that you would love, Jason.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Man, I tried to get through all these albums, and that's one that I didn't get around to before we did the stream. So
It might have been like Steely Dan. If you listened to it once, it might have made your list.
it could have been, yeah.
Maybe not.
You've got to listen to it before the year's over.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It was actually, I think it was your video. I think you did a video, Rich, and it got me listening to the album.
Yeah, I did that a long time ago when I first started, I think.
You went through all the albums, or?
I think I did, I did 2 different ones. I did one on this album, I think, and I did one on his whole career.
Yeah, that's what I thought, yeah.
Yeah.
He's quickly become one of my favorites because of this album.
Good, I'm glad.
Yeah, I love all the songs.
Yeah, I think the style of music that the three of us like, he fits right in that spot. The songwriting ability, the instrumentation, the lyrics, the melodies, it's all there.
He's right in our wheelhouse.
He is.
Yeah.
And then he wrote
Jim Croce too. Jim Croce's right in that wheelhouse too.
Yeah, that's why I'm going through it now.
So Jackson Brown got that album, then he wrote a song for the Eagles at the same time.
He actually was writing a song for his second album, Take It Easy.
Yeah.
And they heard it.
Yeah.
They wanted it on their debut album, and he agreed to do it. I mean, it was a co-writing type thing.
That's crazy.
It preceded. It came out in '72 on the Eagles album, and '73 on Jackson's second album.
Okay.
For Everyman. I think it's the lead-off track on his second album.
That's interesting.
And
I just know that he wrote that song.
Yeah, it's a different style. I like the Eagles version better.
Oh yeah, great.
So Jackson Brown wrote 90% of the lyrics of that song.
That's something.
Glenn Fry did the "Standing on a Corner in Winslow, Arizona" part. That was the missing link, and then that fit. And the rest is history.
What a great combination.
Yeah.
I'll see what's going on in the chat. So Randy's got Exile on Main Street by the Stones as a favourite, but Ziggy Stardust and Jackson Brown just missed his list.
That's the list.
Oh.
And Garrett said he's not going to like what to say about Exile.
Yeah, it's not real high on his list.
Yeah, I might clip him eventually.
Yeah, I think it will. I think it's a good album for sure.
So you bought an album that sucks.
What?
that
Inside joke. Yeah, I was gonna say it must be.
JC album is so great.
Yeah.
Brian's number 1 of 72 was
Almost
Anthem called Transformer. One of his favourite albums. Yeah, I know Brian's a fan of that one.
That's another great album for sure.
Box number 10 would be the favourite song on that.
Yeah, box number 10 song.
Yeah.
It's the same chord progression, Let It Be.
Oh, okay.
Mm. You've got My Dad, Toon Army Steve. Say good choices, guys. My top 3 are. I like what? He's got Louis' favourite. So what was the guy Simon's number? No Secrets album.
Yeah.
That's a good
Not
one,
heard
too.
that one.
That's an underrated one too. The Carly Simon No Secrets. You guys would like that too.
Yeah, it has You're So Vain on it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good song.
Before we go through our top 5 songs, should we go through the honorable mentions quickly?
Well, for albums, I think I would put Exile on Main Street definitely is one of them. Hunky Chateau didn't make my list. That was an honorable mention. Transformer, a lot of them we've already talked about. The Eagles debut, the America debut for me. And that's 5 right there. I'll let it go. Jason, what are your honorable mentions?
I have Homecoming by America. I listened to that one.
That's another one. Yeah.
And I quite enjoyed that album. I listened to Rhymes and Reasons by Carole King. I thought it was actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't have any huge hits on it, but still, I enjoy Carole King. And then I have Paul Simon's debut album.
That's another good one. I forgot that one. Yeah. Very good.
I've only heard Graceland from his solo work.
Yep. What about you, Adam?
On the mentions, a lot of them being said. Harvest, Honky Chateau, and
Okay.
Rocky Mountain High.
Okay, good.
I've also got a couple of albums that no one's mentioned yet, and it's by the band Lindisfarne. They have now called Dingley Dell.
Okay.
And I've also got a Neil Diamond one
Oh, okay.
with Moods. Moods came out in 72.
Okay.
But that's the album side of things, this live stream done. And now move on to our top 5 songs of 72.
Top 5 songs. Top
yeah.
5 songs. We going in the same
You
order?
go, Rich. Yeah, 5. Just number 5 for now.
Okay. Mine is Brandy by Looking Glass.
Oh, okay.
Brandy, You're a Fine Girl by Looking Glass. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great one.
That's
real catchy kind of pop song about a guy in a seaport and there's a bartender named Brandy, or it's not that kind of thing. Brandy, You're a Fine Girl, what a good wife you would be. It wasn't a sailor and setting off to the next mission, sort of a romance that will never happen. I had it written down here. Where the heck is it? Yeah, it was a number 1 song. I want to tell you how high it went on the charts, but it was a big hit for Looking Glass. They never repeated it. One of the better one-hit wonders in history, I think.
Okay. Interesting.
That'll be it. I don't have a lot to say about the songs. But, that would be my number 5.
I've only heard it a couple of times.
I do want to say one thing, that I chose 5 songs that don't appear on the albums. I wanted to separate. Okay. So I didn't repeat songs that were already on albums. I specifically.
Very interesting.
Okay. Well, I did the exact opposite.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, same here.
Number 5 for me was Rocket Man by Elton John. It comes off the Honky Chateau album. One of my favorite Elton John songs, so I had to put it on here.
Yeah.
Everybody knows it. I mean, it's such a great beginning, and then I love the chorus. It's been such a long, long time. So touchdown. I mean, such a great, and Elton John's vocals are just so good on this. He hits some high notes that I just absolutely love when he hits those high notes. That I know he can't hit anymore, but back in the day, man, he could really sing.
Absolutely.
And I'll continue the discussion. It's my number 5 too.
Rocket Man?
Yeah, by Elton
Oh.
John, or the Honky Tonk album. I'm just going to echo what you said, really, but I love the backing vocals as well from its backing band, and I love the whole space theme of the lyrics that
Yeah.
goes with it. It's
Yeah.
it's a perfect song. It's a classic.
Absolutely. Well,
Big
I'm
year
gonna
for
echo, I'm gonna echo it because I have it number 4.
oh
Because it didn't appear on. I didn't pick Hunky
right.
Chateau as an album, so I
Yeah.
just wanted to single that out. Got perfect song. Bernie Taupin lyrics, Elton John's music. What a combination! And I like some of the things. It's kind of a loneliness kind of theme out in space. It's lonely out in space on such a timeless flight. And then he goes that rocket man, that lyric or that high note you're talking about.
Yeah.
Touchdown brings me round again to find I'm not the kind of man you think I am. I'm a rocket man, rocket man.
A rocket man. Yeah.
Yeah, just a wonderful song. So we all 3 had that on our list somewhere. You guys had it at 5.
Already.
Yeah,
At 4.
we ticked off our list.
Yeah. I'm guessing it was a big hit at the time.
In fact, it made it to number 6.
6. Okay.
It was a top 10 hit.
Okay. I figured it had to be.
Yeah.
Number 4 for me was Old Man by Neil Young, coming off the Harvest album. Like I said, that's my favorite Neil Young song personally. I just absolutely love that song.
Yeah.
Again, love the acoustic guitar work on here and just his vocals, the way he goes from the verses to the chorus with that. When he goes into that chorus, oh man, take a look at your life. I don't know, I just love the chorus so much.
Yeah.
And it's a kind of interesting song about looking at through. I feel like it's kind of looking through the eyes of like somebody else and looking at an older person and seeing that they're kind of similar because he says, you're a lot like me, trying to get through the day, you know, and trying to find love. And, you know, so I just like that idea that he sees this kind of older gentleman. I think he was like a neighbor or something. And just kind of writing the song through the eyes of like, you know, difference between older and younger people, and you're not much different or something. Anyways, I don't know. I just love the whole idea behind the song and just love his vocals.
It's probably my favorite Neil Young song as well.
Okay.
But yeah, amazing song, that one. Just didn't quite make it though.
I didn't.
Very close to. But I've already mentioned number 5, so my number 4 is Lean on Me by Will Withers. It's from that Still Bill album. And
Yep.
I love the whole song of the messaging and the vocals. It's a song that is very anthemic as well, and I love the strings on it, and the rest of these songs I'll be mentioning all do have strings on them.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it was quite a popular thing in 1972.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the
And I
one I
really
had
like-
the hardest time cutting. That was on my list for the longest time, and
That's a great song.
I banged it out at the end. But definitely worthy of being on the list. Great song.
I love the bass playing on it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a song. I think all these songs I'll be mentioning have aged really well. I think all the songs we'll all be mentioning are.
Oh yeah, and there's so many great songs that don't even make my list.
I know. I mean, you can come up with 50
Yeah,
classic songs.
Briar is struggling.
yeah, it's hard just picking 5.
Randy's number 5. He gives us all his love for Randy Newman.
Hmm.
We got Instinct 5. We venture a highway.
Yeah.
America.
Good pick.
And 4 for Randy is I'll Take You There.
You think
Staple Singers.
I like that one too.
Rises, I'll go with Listen to the Music by the Doobie Brothers.
Okay.
See, they're all great songs, every one of them. My number 3 is Day After Day by Badfinger.
Man, it's good.
Yeah, that didn't quite make mine.
This is a song, an album that came out late in 71, but the hit charted in 72. So that's why I put it on the list. It's one of my favorite pop songs.
So good.
by Badfinger. I remember finding out about ding, ding, and then George Harrison, I think, produced the single and plays slide guitar on it as well.
I did not know he played guitar on it.
Yeah, yep, he played guitar on
Wow.
on Badfinger's Day After Day. Todd
Really?
Rundgren was the producer of the album, I believe, as well. So all the heavyweights. Badfinger was a big thing back then, and they really, unfortunately, they had two of the guys commit suicide in the band. Sort of fell out of the popularity, obviously, because they had their lead singer Pete Ham was one of the guys that killed himself. So
His vocals are so good.
they are.
It's such a catchy song.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah.
Great song. A good band, Badfinger. So
there's a version with an orchestra of that song.
Really? Okay. Great guitar.
Yeah, the guitar works first rate.
Yeah.
Right, I guess.
All right.
Find my number 3. There it is. It's Starman by David Bowie.
I need 3.
Oh.
I said I need to do my number 3.
Oh, sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Sorry, Jason.
Well, yeah, Jason.
Sorry to interject.
That's all right. My mistake.
That's all right. Number 3 for me was "Reeling in the Years" by Steely Dan, and I would say this is my favorite Steely Dan song. Except I don't know a lot of Steely Dan songs, so if I should say that or not, but it is my favorite Steely Dan song. But this is one of the songs I knew really well before I listened to the album. Even that I've heard on the radio, of course, many times. But absolutely love the guitar work. It's one of my favorite songs as far as guitar. The tone, I don't know, something about that tone of the guitar. As soon as that song begins and that guitar comes in, I'm like, I've never heard a guitar sound like this before. It's like, I don't know what they did to it, but I absolutely love the sound of the guitar. It's amazing. And then the guitar solo is like one of my favorite guitar solos I've ever heard. I think it's absolutely amazing throughout it. And catchy song. The harmonies are just absolutely amazing. Like this is a song I put on my playlist and I listen to at night when I go to bed because it's so soothing when they get into that reeling in the years. I'm like, oh my gosh, these vocals are so good, and the harmonies, like I just absolutely love it. So yeah, it's to me such a unique song. The harmonies and the guitar work is just top notch for me. So I have it at number 3.
Nice.
And now is it my go? It's my go now. Have a guess, Jason.
Is it a David Bowie song?
Yeah, it is. Starman, yeah, my favorite song from the Ziggy Stardust album. It's a classic.
Is that the Starman?
Yeah.
I'm
like, that's all I can remember, but yeah.
Well, that's the catchiest part of the song.
Yeah.
And the la la la, the la 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 bit.
That's right, la la la.
I'm not going to be singing it though.
Yeah, it's a great one.
Love the hand claps on it as well. And I really enjoyed the drum beat on it. It's an amazing song. I think he quickly wrote it as well.
Nice.
He was told to have a single for the album, so he came up with Starman.
Okay. I say that's one I didn't know, so I'm guessing it was one of the bigger ones off the song on the album.
Probably is the biggest one.
Okay.
It's my favorite album.
You guys have to tell me what's the song where he says like, "This is Major Tom, ground control" or something.
That's based on the thing.
Space Oddity.
Is that on the album or is that a different album? Okay.
That's earlier.
Okay.
That's my favorite David Bowie song.
That has a space theme to it, so I was just thinking.
Yeah, that came out in I think 69.
Yeah, it's 1969 it came out.
Yeah, I was thinking Up with Rocket Man. It's some of the best space work I've heard.
and Starman. You can put all 3 of them in the
Starman. Yeah. I guess we landed on the moon in 69. Maybe that was a big deal. I don't know.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Yeah, Space Oddity is a cool song. Ground control to Major Tom.
Major Tom, yeah, that's a good one.
All right, my number 2, I'm going to go with a little soul music here. Papa Was a Rolling Stone by The Temptations.
Temptations. Okay.
My number 2.
That was a number 1 hit.
That was a number 1 hit.
Yeah.
For that band. Really cool production and arrangement. There's 5 singers in The Temptations, but 4 of them really take turns in the lead here, and with different characters within the storytelling. It's about a father of these kids who he has kids from every little family. He was a Rolling Stone. Wherever he laid his hat was his home, and all he left us was alone. So an abandoned family, which was going on a lot in the 70s with in the urban setting, and that's what they wrote about here. Norman Whitfield was the songwriter, and the Temptations at one time were more of a poppy or Motown group, and then they got into some serious subject matter as the 60s progressed and into the 70s. So I love the song. I believe it's a Grammy winner from 72.
Okay.
Number 1 hit. Papa Was a Rolling Stone. Great arrangement. The beginning of it too. It does sound a lot like the theme from Shaft, where they build up to the song. But you should check it out. Papa Was a Rolling Stone. Listen to the album version, which is a longer one than the hit.
Okay.
Excellent song.
I just remember you and Randy doing the number 1 hits, and I remember that being on it. I just kind of remember that.
Yeah.
That's right. When we did our 1972, we both had that pretty high up.
Yeah, I think I had it pretty low on my list. I think that was the shock. You guys had it so high.
We either had it 1 or 2. It was pretty high up. I forget. It's been a while.
I think so. I remember being like, wow, this is like towards the bottom of my list. And you guys were like, this is the best song. I'm like, oh, wow. Okay.
We had some chosen words for you on that one, Jason. All in jest.
Yeah, I think of the Temptations. I'm thinking like an early 60s band. So it's surprising that they came out in 72 as well.
Yeah, they had a nice long run.
That's a surprise. I didn't realize.
But this was their last big hit.
Okay.
In 72, and music had changed, and
I would think so. Yeah.
And it was the different black artists were getting a shot, and the Temptations were considered an older act at that point, so they weren't getting as much radio play as, let's say, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes and the Spinners and the OJs. They were the 70s version of the Temptations.
Okay.
All great.
Well,
All right.
I'll get my number 2. I'm
Number
joking,
2.
Jason.
I give my number 2.
I'm joking, Jason.
I'm like, I need to interject real quickly. My number 2. My number 2 is "Goodbye Again" by John Denver off of the Rocky Mountain High album, which is something because Rocky Mountain High is probably the bigger song on here, and it's one of my favorites as well. But I put "Goodbye Again." I like a little bit better. It's like I said, I love the song because when I listen to it, it's just a heartbreaking song to me because he's singing about having to leave his wife basically because he's going on tour or whatever, and he's singing about it's goodbye again. I'm sorry to be leaving you, but it's goodbye again. If you didn't know, it's goodbye again. Anyways, it's kind of the chorus, and I love the why do we have to fight every time I go. It ends every chorus, and to me that just breaks my heart every time I hear that. I can imagine, of course, they would get divorced, eventually, him and his first wife. And so I guess, and I'm married, and I think the same. I'm like, man, I'd hate to leave my wife, for long periods of time. That would break my heart having to be away for that long. And so I love the lyrically him talking about like he talks about how I long to be in your arms and be in bed with you, and and I'd rather be there, but I got the stuff to do. I've got to go sing songs to people that know my name. And I don't know. I just absolutely love the song, and it's just a beautiful. And there's a female voice in there too that kind of comes in and sings with him on the chorus. And to me, it's just a beautiful song and just a beautifully written song. One of my favorites of John Denver.
Who does the female voice?
I forget now. I didn't look it up, but I'm not sure if it's somebody famous or not, but
I don't know.
I'm not sure. But I've got to hear that song again. I've only heard it once. But it's an amazing song, though.
yeah.
Right, now my number 2 is Song for Adam.
Hey,
There you go.
It's not because it's named after me.
Coincidence.
it's a great song. Absolutely.
Oh, I need to listen to it.
I love the story it tells and
Yeah.
the
That's a true
Jackson
story. It's an
vocals.
absolute
Yeah,
true story.
True story. Okay.
it's quite a heartbreaking one.
It's a heartbreaker, but it's somebody he actually knew, and I don't want to give it away and spoil it for you, but it's a true story.
And it's got a beautiful melody in this song, and
Yeah.
it's over 5 minutes, but it does fly by because of the
Right.
amazing storytelling. I love his acoustic guitar playing here as well.
Yeah.
It's a perfect folk song from an amazing album, from a perfect album, I'd say.
So it's kind of a song in his memory or something, or
Yeah.
okay,
It's dedicated to somebody
dedicated. Yeah.
that may or may not be with us any longer. I don't
Right.
want to give it away. But yeah, Song for Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's,
It should be called "Song for What the Gym," but it's not about me though.
I think Blink-182 has a song called called Adam or something. I may be wrong. It seemed like
Who?
I think I've heard that one. I wasn't the biggest fan of it though.
yeah, but it's about suicide and it's about someone named Adam. I think if
Who's
I
that?
remember,
You too?
Blink-182.
Oh, I don't know Blink-182.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a sad song.
Okay.
Mm. Right, well, I guess we'll see what's going on in the chat before we reveal what our favourite is.
Okay.
Like I said, listen to Big Bad Thing songs. Another band I need to get into. I mean, Daydream is his third favourite.
You need Daydream.
Celluloid Heroes by the Kinks.
Great song. I should have had that. Celluloid Heroes. Yep.
I'm going to talk about that. I didn't know it came out in '72.
That's a great song.
Okay.
Yeah. It's one of my favourite songs by the Kinks.
Yep.
A Great Temptations pick with
Yeah, I need Randy.
Rocket Man, Bride's number 2. Yeah, we all summed up for him.
Oh, got that.
Goodbye Again, great song.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. Right, so Rich, what's your favourite song of
My
19?
number 1 is Superstition by Stevie Wonder.
Okay.
This is such a great, from the Talking Book album, a lot of funk, a lot of soul. Stevie Wonder went on a roll here in the 70s. I think he won Album of the Year maybe 3 times of the 10 years in the 70s. It was just ridiculous what he was doing, putting out great music every year. Every album he came out with was massive. I love Superstition because it uses those cliches, broke the looking glass, 13-year-old baby, all these little superstitious things combined. They're weaved into the lyrics of the song. And he does a great job in the performance. The music's out of this world. Him on the keyboards, and it just sounds so fresh and original. It's such a 70s song. You listen to that, you're in the 70s.
I actually heard the song earlier today.
Did you?
Really?
I saw reactions to the classics reacting to it.
Hey, that's a great one.
Yeah.
I love it. So I put that at number 1. Just it's the song I think about when I think of 1972. It's the most. So even though
It's
it's
probably
not
the
really,
catchiest song. It's probably the catchiest song of '72.
yeah.
It's amazing, that one, yeah.
So that's my number 1.
Okay. So that's off of the Talking Books or something like that?
Talking Book is the name of the album. Yeah.
In the album. Yeah. Okay. All right. My number 1 is Time in a Bottle by Jim Croce.
Classic.
Yeah. The acoustic guitar work is absolutely amazing. I love the beginning with the picking of the guitar. Just so beautiful to listen to. And his voice so good. And it's one of the best written love songs, I think, of all time, because it's talking about if I had all the time in the world, I would spend it with you, basically. And like, what's better than giving your time to somebody? It's like maybe one of the greatest things you can give to somebody. And again, we don't know how much time we have left on Earth. I don't even know how much time. I'm only 39, but it's like I don't know how much time I have left. Jim Croce died at 30. You know, he didn't know he had too much time left in his life, and so you just gotta love people when you have the time, I think. And I just love the lyrics of, you know, if I had a box full of wishes and dreams that never come true, they'd all be answered by you. It's just a beautiful songwriting. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
It was in one of the X-Men films as well.
Yeah, X-Men Days of Future Past.
That's where I first heard it.
What's his name? The guy that goes real fast.
Quicksilver.
Quicksilver. He goes so fast that time stands still, and they play Time in the Bottle because time stands still.
Perfect choice.
It's fast.
Yeah, it's a perfect choice there.
It's amazing. Yeah.
It's the best moment of the film.
Yeah, it's a great moment.
Yeah, it's a great song. Good pick.
Randy's got Tommy Dice by the Stones. It's his favourite. 80s lead superstition and Garden Party. Hurricane Nelson off the list.
Garden Party's great too.
Yeah.
And Bry's favourite is Perfect Day by Lou Reed. Well, funny as he just say that.
Is that
If I can find it.
is that your number one?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There it is.
Perfect
My number
Day.
one. My favourite song of 1972.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, I loved it ever since I first heard it. About 4 or 5 years ago. Love the piano playing on this. And I love the chorus, the way it builds up to it. And in my opinion, it's Lou Reed's best vocal performance here. I think that the song, you can interpret it about love or about drugs, really. It could be about one or the other.
Yeah,
But I think it's probably about drugs, though.
I would think so.
I've heard he writes about drugs. I think I've heard.
I think he's dabbled in a few in his career.
That's what I've heard.
Lou,
Quite pleased with that one.
Yeah.
Yay.
you guys matched on
Yeah.
that. Nice job.
Yeah.
I love the song. It's in my top 15 songs of all time. But it's very high up there for me.
Wow.
Yeah, it's an amazing one. But there we go. We've gone through our top 5 songs and albums of 72. Take care, Randy.
All right, Randy.
Thanks for joining on the
Yeah,
stream.
Randy.
But yeah, I really enjoyed doing this, and thank you to everyone in the chat who participates in this.
Very nice.
If you watch this after this live stream's live, you can go ahead and let us know your favourite songs and albums of 1972. And they've also got Rich and Jason's channel, both linked in the description below. Please go ahead and subscribe to them. They're both part of the Varna community. And Rich does videos to do with sports, and Jason does videos doing movies as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely subscribe to those two. And overall, what did you guys think of 1972 as a year of music? It's one of the best years of music, isn't it?
Yeah.
No doubt. Yeah, there's about a stretch. I would think for me, from 65 to
Yeah.
75, right in there is the best 10-year stretch of music.
Just going to say the same thing.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, when the Beatles did Rubber Soul,
Mm-hmm.
and Dylan had his big albums in 65, that really kicked it off.
Music was ever the same after that.
Yeah, I mean, it just, everybody started putting out great material, you know, and you got towards the end of the 60s, and Led Zeppelin came on the scene, which is a big band for me. Then the singer-songwriter movement came, and
I'm more into the early 70s and late 70s.
yeah, I like a lot of the later 70s. I like the Fleetwood Mac stuff, you know, Rumors, it's a great album. That came out in 77. And
I'm not a big disco guy.
no, that's when the things hit the fan, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know, disco and even punk to a degree. I'm just not I like some of it, but not enough of it to be a favorite of mine. But disco
I agree.
was, you know, stick to the rock music, the rock and roll, and the good songwriting. That's what I appreciate the most.
A lot of
Yeah.
early albums too on this 1972. I was thinking,
Yeah,
because you had Steely Dan's debut album. Um, uh, America is like their second album, maybe. It's
yeah.
kind of the Paul Simon's debut album,
Eagles,
debut album,
Jackson Brown.
Jackson Brown's debut album, Carly Simon's debut album, I think. And then even John Denver is kind of early. Jim Croce is one of his pretty much big album. Neil Young is maybe third or fourth album in his
Yeah.
list.
Yep.
Elton John, I don't know, somewhat maybe early in his list. So,
Yep.
so
Yeah,
man, these are some really good people that's starting out. kind of.
Yeah, absolutely. All of them.
I don't know about Lou Reed. Was this Lou Reed's first big one, or?
I think it might have been his first solo album. He was with Velvet Underground before
Right,
that.
right.
So
David
yeah,
Bowie. Was it early David Bowie or?
David Bowie was a little bit earlier, but I mean, maybe his fifth album, something like that.
Okay.
Bowie.
So yeah,
Well, don't you get you for 73, Brian? Don't you worry.
yeah. I'm
But
just turning 73 now.
we've got about a year till we get to that live stream.
Yeah.
But do you guys have any honorable mentions? Be your favorite songs of this of 72?
I have a few written down. I'll just run through. A lot of them we talked about. Lean on Me, Time in a Bottle, Celluloid Heroes. All three of those were mentioned. Tumbling Dice, Garden Party. I have I'll Be Around by the Spinners, and The City of New Orleans by Arlo Guthrie is a great song.
Okay.
Those are the ones I would feature. And, you know, the Eagles songs like Take It Easy and some of those standards, you know. So that's what I would put out there.
Nice.
Yeah. I didn't have Lean on Me or Day After Day. I didn't realize those were 72 songs. I already have that on my.
Yeah, I didn't know Day After Day was
Okay.
either.
I was like, man, those are great songs. Those would be on my honorable mention for sure. But You're So Vain, I absolutely love. Take It Easy. Ventura Highway, I really like that song. Also Saturday in the Park from Chicago.
Yeah. Yep.
Also a great song.
Good one.
I'll go to my this is my number 10 to number 6. So my 10th favorite song of 72 is Richard's favorite song from Ziggy Stardust, 5 Years.
Yeah.
My number 9 is probably my favorite Neil Young song, Old Man.
Oh man.
And my number 8 is another song for the Jackson Brown album. It's Jamaica Say You Will.
Yeah, I love that song.
Okay.
And my number 7 is another song from the Transformer album, and it's Satellite of Love. And my number 6 is from that Michael Nesmith album, and it's called Keep On.
Okay.
Nice. I have my book here. Let me just read a few of the songs that maybe we didn't mention that were hits.
Okay.
The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face by Roberta Flack.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great one, yeah.
Great song. Alone Again Naturally, Gilbert O'Sullivan.
Okay.
Another really good. American Pie, which the album was 71, but it was massive in 72.
Yeah.
American Pie by Don McLean. Without You by Harry Nilsson.
Uh-huh.
A Horse with No Name, America.
Yeah, so good.
Lean on Me's in here. Brandy's in here. Let's Stay Together, Al Green. I'll Take You There, Staple Singers. Heart of Gold, Neil Young. These are all number 1 songs. Papa with the Rolling Stones. Song Sung Blue by Neil Diamond. Long Cool Woman in a Black Dress by the Hollies.
Yeah.
Okay. Nights in White Satin by the Moody Blues. That was reissued, but it came out. It was a
Okay.
it was originally on the 67 album.
67.
Yeah.
The Future Past.
Burning Love by Elvis.
Really?
Yeah.
Burning Love.
Saturday in the Park was a number 3 song.
Okay.
Chicago, yeah.
What else is on here? Badfinger Day After Day, number 6. But that just gives you a list of Never Been to Spain by Three Dog Night, which is a big song.
Yeah.
that Harry Nilsson song without you.
Classic.
I forgot it came out in '72.
Yeah.
Morning is Broken by Cat Stevens.
I always thought of it more as '71 though. That
Yeah,
that was
the
that
album.
song.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rocket Man's on here. Summer Breeze by Seals and Crofts.
Yeah, they had an album come out.
There's quite a lot of
Yeah.
songs you mentioned.
Tumbling
They're all-
Dice.
They're all amazing songs.
Doctor My Eyes. Ventura Highway. Oh, God. Honky Cat, which we talked about earlier, was Witchy Woman by the Eagles.
Yeah, Richie Woman, that's right. Yeah.
Bang a Gong by T-Rex, a little harder music. Tumbling Dice. How about School's Out by Alice Cooper?
Oh,
Yeah, the great one.
Take It Easy by the Eagles, which only got up to number 12. You think of that as being a bigger hit, but it was number 12. But
Yeah, they're all
That
little
was
versions of those ones.
lots of great music, lots of great albums.
oh, yeah.
We got Josh from Classic Reviews in here, guys. Hey, Josh.
Hey,
Well, it was great doing this live stream with everyone watching and with you guys. Some
Thank
of the
you.
best guys from the VC. Great,
appreciate
it's great to
you
have
having
you
me.
both on this. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's been
great.
great doing all this.
Can't wait to do 73 next year when we
I
turn
know.
the page. We'll do it.
Yeah, we'll have to invite prior for that one.
Yeah. Another good year.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I have to look at it.
You've got band on the run.
Oh,
I
man.
think the Dark Side of the Moon as well.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Some big
Yeah,
It's not going to be an easy. It's not going to be an easy one. But we have got a year to prepare for it. So,
You got to hear it. Yeah.
any
any final words before we end this?
I just want to say thank you very much. I enjoyed doing it and look forward to more stuff down the road.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, thank you for everyone watching. Until next time, everyone. Ciao. Goodbye.
Later.
Bye.
See you guys.